The physical and psychological scars caused by burns are without a doubt traumatic. In a world where we're unfortunately judged by our looks first, burn survivors are forced to be extraordinary every single day. On this week's show, we profile two burn survivors, Mita Lebaka and Ntabiseng Nkashe. Welcome to Bophelong. My name is Refiel Wemwilwa. Mita Lebaka suffered burns at the tender age of 8. Taken in by the organization Children of Fire to help her heal and rehabilitate her, today she stands proud as a social worker for Children of Fire, traveling across Africa helping other burn survivors. This is her story.
Fire can be a friendly, comforting thing, a source of heat and light. Yet fire can also be dangerous and deadly. In mythology, fire is portrayed as both a creative, cleansing force and as a destructive, punishing element. Most Christians have that image of perpetual torment in hell etched on their minds. Some myths of apocalypse predict that the world will end, consumed by fire. But for the farmer, fire sometimes epitomizes a new beginning, purifying and cleansing the ravages of winter, allowing the new birth of a new, fresh world. Fun, loving, bubbly, and hardworking, always displaying an independent spirit. Many believe that it may have been these spirits of always wanting to do things herself that she suffered these terrible burns, changing her life of innocence.
Begavugile again, as preparation. It was a Saturday morning. Abantu balele, and she's way up in the morning. So big banda. It was in August. Yeah, because a birthday is the 22nd of August, so it was just around so big sabanda gangan. So she was just warming herself, and beguna lama 2 plate lawayana bona lawe spiral, so yabambijezi. And then now instead of calling for help, she was trying to alungise situation, so that's how again in trying to help her, that's how she sustained that much burning. Had she called for help, she would not have burned that much.
Mita's mother was questioned and felt somewhat judged by the hospital staff and community.
Everybody was wrong because nesi primary stofu inesi in the doctor ni ba my kids go na wana o chile jwa muntlong. Then we try to explain to them muthoki motho a tswang ho seng. So le haile Saturday o tswa o seng ke Sonta o tswa o seng, so gona kana go netse re robetse kana kwa tswang acha. Then bana ba di ba blame bana ho no ke negligence ngwana o tshile ka ke le kae ho etsa hala eng ke then ke ka le ka ho ba hlalosa ka mo go hlaloseng ka teng ka ndi ba fumana ho no ke nnete ntwe re bua ngwana o tshile jwang.
It is said that lightning does not strike at the same place twice, but the Lebakas know differently.
I was high second when I can ula bana le brain tumor. I said the operation see a feel later about epileptic. Then I will let you get about epilepsy. La hatsa can play about tita ketlele. It be why much she said that's how she got bent.
Despite the tragedy, Mita never felt ashamed or different because of her burns.
I just see me, the person that I am. So I define me as a happy person, happy, content person. So yeah.
But much as children from her primary school accepted her as she was, high school was as much joy for the burn survivor.
There were other kids that I had gone to primary school with, and it was just nice to see each other, different uniform, different setting, a lot of people, huge hall, and so then we get told, grade 8 students, you need to sit in the wall, we'll call you by your names to allocate classes for you. And I think then those of us who had been to the same school, primary school, we all wanted to be in one class. But I guess it was because, remember when I got burnt, I was a child, I was still young.
While in high school, Mita was recruited by Children of Fire, an organization that helps rehabilitate burn victims, she met with other severely burned survivors to share their life stories.
Another life-changing moment in high school was when we had just climbed Kilimanjaro when I was in matric. So Children of Fire took a group of burn survivors from all over the world. Then it was go climb Kilimanjaro, show the world what you can do. Again, we meet these burn survivors from Norway, from Kenya, and from other parts of South Africa. And then the thing is, I remember one of the guys saying, "Oh, the whole point why we came here is to the summit," and we had to exercise for that and this and that. It was hard, considering that I'm not a sporty person myself. So it was one of those things that I had to do. And then, as we were climbing the mountain together, I saw a lot of caring within the group. I saw people who, some of them, for the longest time, they've been shunned by society. They've been told that they amount to nothing.
Mita's independence rubs off everyone around her. The independent 8-year-old never dwelled on her burn wounds and how she looked, but rather the fire ignited the passion for life she always had inside.
The type of, I think the personality helped us as well ukuthi si embrace this burning, because even nasesibhedlela umama tells me ukuthi beka umuntu nje ongekalale, you know, when beka umuntu ozobe up and about helping, ngathi beka nabo gogo around her, helping abo gogo, mita riklisetse metsi, mita this. So she's always been like that, even with that cast, that neck resting, beka sebenza ukilobona la endlini. She didn't change. She was always this bubbly person, you know, and that independence was still there. And so that, I think, personality can then helped us ukuthi singamboni as umuntu oshile.
Mita's life story has helped transform others. She travels around the continent helping other burn survivors.
One time we had this child who had been badly burned, and at that time she was 10 months old. She lived in Goma in the DRC. And as it is, then Brahman set us around the office and said, "Guys, this child needs help." Of course, I'm always up for helping. I'm always up for helping. Yes, we can, you know, let's do what we need to do to help the child. And Brahman says, "Okay, fine. We'll do it. We'll help the child, blah, blah, blah." And then we go on back and forth, emails, this, that, logistics. Eventually, Shriners Hospital in Boston agreed to help the child. Then the biggest thing was to now get the child to Boston. And the child is in Goma. And Brahman says to me, "Okay, you are capable. I know you'll do it." And then I'm thinking, wait. Surely there are more capable people. And she says, "I know that you are capable." So another thing that she's taught me, or another thing she's, much as my mum had instilled it, Brahman grew it further, was you're capable. You can do this. No one else but you.
Melibaga never cried in front of the company of her children, but rather celebrates the life given to her with them.
I keep blaming Modimo ngwanaka because ke temalo tse ke neng ka di bona go di haba le tsa etsahala. Mara potso go rona di etsaetse jwang, but ka gore batho ba tumelo ha ke dumele ke ntse tsa bo boloi tsa bo eng ke bone fela re ke ka mo go lemba ka mo Modimo entseng ka teng hore ba le maletse.
With the help of the Children of Fire, Mita is now a social worker manager and helping other survivors to unleash their potential, regardless of their form or shape.
The world needs to stop having prejudice against people who are disfigured or people who look different. And I think that people should not want to pump kids full of sugar when they see that they're bent. "Oh, have a sweet. Oh, you're bent. Oh, have a cold drink." No, you don't do that. I think people should just allow people who are disabled or disfigured or whatever to be who they are.
Founded in 1996 as one of the very few organizations dedicated to helping child burn survivors, Children of Fire are truly an amazing group of people doing work all across the continent. Stay tuned to Bophelong. We're back after the ad break.
This week we are taking you around the continent, telling you stories about what makes Africa, Africa.
We now head to the Kenyan coast where we meet a man using needles to fight a growing drug culture.
A recent study revealed that there are 850 drug addicts in Diani alone, with over 220 using injectable drugs such as heroin.
In my community, I've seen a lot of these people suffer.
The Journal, every Saturday at 1:30 on SABC News.
Hello and welcome back to the show. 19-year-old Nthabiseng Nkashe was accidentally dropped into a fire when she was only 10 months old. Once a very shy girl, but having gained incredible confidence since children of fire came into her world, or rather since she came into theirs. Let's now hear about her life and how it's done a complete 360-degree turn for the better.
The spirit of being a survivor is one that is intrinsic and our birthright. Sometimes without being faced with challenges, we tend to underestimate our strong nature. We doubt, fear, and fail to believe that no matter the struggle, we can stand the heat. Nthabiseng Nkashe was only 10 months old when she experienced the most despicable event that would turn her life around. This is how the horror happened.
My aunt got epileptic disease, and my mother left me with her. She went out, someone else didn't know. So it was a fight in front in Paula. So Nankukila Hafeta, the defeated the athletes and Paula She can't believe that.
Angry about why she was the only one burned and not her twin brother who was also dropped by their aunt, Nthabiseng still cannot explain what kept her alive after being dropped inside the scorching brazier.
Instead of maybe she'll try and save us, she just walked out because even if we got epileptic disease, they didn't work with hot, so it was hot inside. She just walked out the door and left us like that. And my mom, she came back, she found that I was paining. She called the ambulance next door to help. And after they took me to hospital, Bophelong.
Nthabiseng feels the local hospital failed her.
When they got there, I can say they helped me, but not much the way I was expecting to be helped. Like, cause my hands was shrunk. I couldn't hold anything because it was like this part was pasted here, like, and my fingers were like this shrunk and okay. My leg, it was badly bent, and this part of mine was pasted under here, so I couldn't walk. So I came with the crutches until start from that age until I turned 10 years.
After being discharged from hospital, Nthabiseng started her grade 1 at the age of 10.
I was shy about myself, shy with walking. Yeah.
Nthabiseng's anguish would not last long. Aged 17 and only finishing her primary school, Children of Fire social worker helped regain the time lost.
I came in 2012 on the 2nd of November. My uncle and my social worker brought me because first thing, I didn't know that I was gonna come and stay for long. See, so it was sad leaving my twin behind, and I was happy that they told me that I'm going to have a new leg. They took me to Christian Balkon in Soweto. That's the first thing. I went to amputate my leg.
She did not have to do much adjustment, as upon her arrival, she was already being prepared for her necessary surgery.
When I came here, we were going for a trip to Singapore Land. It's on my first day coming here. I found them waiting for me. First thing when my uncle told me, because she knows that I was shy and scared, they never told me like in Nthabiseng when you go there, you'll find the bank kids as well. So like, I was feeling uncomfortable, like, okay, I'm gonna be the band child again as I fell at my school. But unfortunately, like when I came, I found the people that are bad than me. Much better never bend the face. I'm only the child who's like this. We never bend the face. We never bend like this. I only bend the stomach. That's the only thing that scared me. So after I came back, Brown and Mita, the one who was here, they checked for my tips to tone, to check what can we think the doctor can do for Ntabiseng.
Train them in firefighting.
After her first surgery, Ntabiseng finally got her angel. Bronwyn Jones, the founder of the Children of Fire, helped Ntabiseng through her schooling.
She took me to professional childcare college. I went to learn about the children the whole year. Anyway, I was kind of weak, sad, because I was young, like, understand, 17, and then the only adults that are there, you understand? So like, okay, I'm young, but they're like, okay, Polish is doing the best for me. First of all, she pushed the doctors to give me a prosthetic leg, which now I'm working with. She pushed the doctor to do my hands better. I can hold a pen, hold a cup, my own plate, my own stuff. Like, okay, I was like, me, I can't hold this. I have to try my best to see that I can do this. I was doing lots of stuff because they're showing us how to save the child, you see. So the complication is that I know how to work with small children, like children until 18. I know how to work with them. I know what this child needs when she's sick. I know what they can do, and I know if an accident happens and you go away with a long trip, I know how to do a first aid. Most thing we know, I can do a CPR.
Now happy and a bit more confident, Ntabiseng helps around at the Children of Fire with chores. Her transformation has also surprised her family, who are amazed that she can perform such duties.
Bronwyn took me to the office, teaching me how to do computer skills, how to work computer, how to write reports. Because that from now is when every day, if any child goes to hospital, I have to go with the child, write the notes, what the doctor said, and I kept it coming to type it because she got lots of stuff to do. So I will email it to her.
Her last surgery is nearing soon, and Ntabiseng understands exactly what needs to be done to fix her fractured bones.
So the doctor, to push my life and make me happy as the others, he's going to remove this bone, this thumb, go to put it here. He's going to be the most big operation that he thinks that I never had in my life.
Now qualified as a child care professional, Ntabiseng enjoys looking after the younger children at the center. She makes sure that she picks them up from school every afternoon and loves playing around with them, as they are now her new family.
Don't touch your dials. Bophelong is back after the break.
The session musicians, you want a particular sound on your record. Who do you get? Abo Butemp, Abo Victor Masond, Abo Godfrey Mtrina. So these are the people who play a very, very vital role in making us.
The South African Horror Fest is the only inclusive event of its kind over Halloween season. It screens a host of exciting horror or thriller movies from around the world.
Shishani achieved stardom when she won a live music competition in Namibia titled Last Band Standing in 2012.
Join Musam Khalipi on Afro Showbiz every Saturday at 19:30 CAT.
If you've just joined us, this is the last stretch of the show, and today burn survivors Mita Lebaka and Ntabiseng Kashe are our heroes. Bronwyn Jones, the founder of Children of Fire, spoke to us and also gave us some valuable advice on how to protect ourselves and our children from fires.
Please tell us more about Children of Fire and what it does.
Children of Fire is a charity that
started because the most badly burned girl in the world needed a solution. And when we had helped her improve her quality of life, then we knew a lot about what can be done. So now people will refer children to us. Some will just walk in from the street. Some will send pictures by email. Some will phone. And when the people come, we will basically look at a child from tip to toe, look at their injuries, tell them what it is possible to fix, if we can fix it, if it can be fixed in the state system, or whether you have to go to the private sector.
How does Children of Fire help kids around South Africa and the continent?
I once went to work in Gabon, and I went there and happened to visit a hospital and came across a young woman who was thrown with acid. And she was lying, effectively rotting in the hospital. The staff have been on strike for 4 months. In Gabon, you have to pay your own food, take your own sheets, everything in the hospital. She had lost 20 kilos from depression and also the injury. You lose weight after being burned, usually. And there's no plastic surgeons at all in Gabon. And there was one French surgeon, and he explained the following week he was going to remove her eye because he had no way of repairing the skin around it. And I said, just wait. And came back, spoke to various trustees, and they said, we aren't allowed to help kids in Africa or young people in Africa because we've got the trust deed and the rules. And so for that particular youngster, I said, fine, I'll do it myself. And those days, Netcare was a bit sweeter, and we got her into one of their hospitals for surgery, and I got an airline to help with the airfare, and so on and so on. And she lived with me for best part of 2 years, and we got her life back on track. We got the weight back, we got some surgery, a lot of surgery. I even offered my car at one stage to try and meet some of the costs. And then the trustees were saying, you can't help with someone from another country. And I said, but if I'm in a squatter camp that's just burned down in Greater Johannesburg, and I have 3 families in front of me, each with a burned child, well, one will be South African, but one might be Zimbabwean, one might be Mozambican. And I really can't stand there and say, take your children away, query, I'm not going to help them. So we then went and changed the rules of the trust so that we are allowed to help in other African countries, even though the focus is on SABC countries being closer to home. 1 in 3 children in Africa are burned intentionally, including in South Africa. So the cause is the same, and the solution is largely the same. The other major causes of burns are open flame fuel sources, whether people are using candles for light or kerosene paraffin lamps, whether they're using paraffin stoves or open fires. They are enormously dangerous, much more dangerous than your average family living in, I don't know, Houghton or Midrand or whatever. They are not at risk the same way. So we are helping across the continent. A little over a year ago, we were in Kinshasa in the DRC. We operated on 60 complicated children there, and that was so difficult. There wasn't even running water in the hospital. What our ambition is to deal with the prejudice, to deal with prevention of injury and safer fuels, and eventually in a neighbouring country we would like to build our own hospital so that children with these traumatic injuries can be stabilised in their home country, and then they can come to us.
How do you reach out to the kids? How do you find them?
Dora, as I say, was the first child, and what I found with looking after Dora is the social prejudice that people they put on Dora, they also put on me. So all I realised with that is, first of all, I would say I lost 90% of my friends from caring for Dora, but the 10% I kept, and the new ones that came along were much nicer people anyway. But having lived alongside her and just seen the ish and the how, or someone saying in macro, look daddy monster, when you're just shopping, is something these children face every single day of their lives. So it's with each of them, it's a real version of tough love to say you can do whatever you want to do. When you're scarred, you can be a boy of 16 and people are saying, hey, Baba, they think it's a man because the scars make them look older. And in the hospitals, often the nurses and doctors forget that someone who's gone through this terrible rejection, what they most need is a hug.
Precautionary measures can be taken to avoid burns.
If you love someone, Valentine's Day, roses cost far too much, they double the price. Buy them a fire extinguisher. That's what you actually need to do. People in formal housing, smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, fire blankets for their kitchens. And then people must think. We're going to have more and more power cuts. We know we can't avoid it. So you're all going to use candles. So look for a safe candle holder. Find a way to make the place safe if you have to leave your children at home. So there are things called hot bags. They're like a quilted bag which has got foil inside. You can boil your rice, turn it off the stove, put the saucepan inside this bag and do it up, and it carries on cooking. Then your child doesn't have to go anywhere near a match, anywhere near a stove at all. You need to remove kids from danger. You need to not run the hot water in the bath and then go out and answer the phone. It's, a few seconds and your child's life is ruined forever. So, but it's common sense. People should also, in their own homes as well as their workplaces, think, if it started burning now, how would I get out? They should teach their kids to go crawl low under smoke because that's where the air is cleaner. They should teach them how to feel the back of a door to see if the flames are the other side. They should design their homes to have 2 exits. We all make burglar bars to keep the bad guys out. And when our home is burning, we can't get out.
How can people at home help at the Children of Fire?
To be blunt, it's not a zoo. Some people think they can send children from quite fancy schools in our neighbourhood to come and interview the kids or do 5 hours community service, so-called, whereas they just come and gossip. We're very serious about volunteers. They fill in a volunteer form and it's a privilege, not a right, to be allowed to interact with our kids. So people who want to do something, even youngsters, they must commit a minimum of 40 hours, but we'd prefer someone to say, I will come every Saturday morning without fail, 9 to 12 for the next 6 months, to make a serious commitment, because it's not fair to mess around with the kids' feelings, whether it's this charity or another charity. People who think they're doing some big favour to come for a couple of hours, that's not what it's about. It's a very interesting place to come and volunteer, but people must come with a full heart to give, not to do the selfie, ach shame, here's me and a burn kid.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Some great advice. It truly takes immeasurable strength of character to be disfigured by fire, but still rise above that. We take our hats off to Mita and Ntabiseng. And of course, what would these 2 ladies be today if not for the work that Bronwyn Jones and her team at Children of Fire do? Thank you to all of them. Stay in touch with us, of course. Our email address is bophelong@sabc.co.za. So join me, Refiel Wemwilwa, next week, where we'll shine the spotlight on another inspirational South African who makes the decision every single day to not let the challenges they face define who they are. Goodbye.